A lot of the time I realize that other cultures kind of get this. I need you to hear me. Other cultures tend to get this. And when I say other cultures, I'm talking about white culture, Indian culture. I'm talking about other cultures other than African Americans. And a lot of the time what happens is you're mistaking the playboy for a husband, and you're trying to marry a playboy instead of marrying a husband. And that's, a lot of women don't realize this. A lot of women don't realize this. And this is why you continue to have such horrible dating experiences. Because you could be sitting there ignoring the husband material, ignoring the man that is already put you in his forever category. A man will sleep with you, hang out with you, Netflix and chill with you, and you are not his type at all, but he enjoys the sex, he enjoys your company, he enjoys the fun. And now as a woman, you've put this type of man into the husband material. They looked at the playboy and said he just wasn't the one, he wasn't faithful, he wasn't ready to settle down. But Rebecca, as a matchmaker, I want you to find me the man who looks like Mr. Playboy, who wants to be loyal and faithful to me and committed to me, and find me my husband, but I want him to look like Mr. Playboy and act like Mr. Playboy. And that's when I stopped matchmaking.
Now this sounds like a woman who has heard it all, right? She's gotten the feedback from a lot of women, and she's just like, okay, yeah, you're not getting these good results. It's because you're doing the wrong thing. You're taking the wrong approach. You're making the wrong decisions in men that you're choosing to be with. And you need more and more women being real with other women. You can see the passion. She stops matchmaking after she sees certain tendencies because she realized it's a lost cause. They want a husband, they want a good man. But like she said, look for the wrong things in a man.
Over the years, there have been a lot of black women who help black women, who have decided to actually stop helping black women. So I'll give you some examples. Iyanla Vanzant, who had a show called Fix My Life. Many of you have watched this show. She started getting death threats from people. Some of them, I believe, were black women. Some people, particularly black women, didn't like her coaching style. So she stopped serving in that capacity as far as her show on the OWN network. April Mason, relationship coaches are giving up on helping black women because of our unrealistic expectations. And again, it doesn't mean that we shouldn't have standards, but we need to be asking ourselves, can we bring, to the table what we're asking for and more?
And not only can you bring to the table what you're asking for, but are you enjoyable to be with? Is being in a relationship only about you? Are you self-centered? Can you work as a team? Are you giving men what they want? Are you self-reflective? Can you be accountable? All these things, if you can't do that, you're not going to be in a relationship, not a successful one.
And you're blinded to all the red flags, right? That he's really not consistent. He's already showing you he's not into you, right? But then here's the key, guys. This is when I stopped matchmaking. I've told you guys this before. I stopped matchmaking because I had a different standard for men than I realized that a lot of women had. A lot of single women have these standards that are crazy. And I met my husband, and when I was matchmaking, I realized that the women, my female clients, would have not even given my husband a chance. They wouldn't have dated him. Because my husband is a good man, a solid man, right? A strong man. I mean, my husband, but literally, it was like I realized that's not what a lot of these women are looking for. And I've done videos about this, about how women and their expectations of men have gotten so ridiculous.
I think Rebecca Lynn Pope is spot on. When she talks about other races or other cultures, and how they're socialized, it is very rare for a woman of another race or culture to make comments and say that, you know, I can do bad by myself, or, you know, I have my degree, I'm good, you know. In my experience,
That's true.
Women, again, of other races and other cultures seem to understand the value that men have in their lives and just in the world. And this is kind of ingrained in them from the time they're born, right? Whereas black women, I think oftentimes many of us are socialized. We're socialized to think that somehow education can serve as a placeholder or can serve as a substitute for a man, for a partner, etc. And this can be a very tricky space to navigate with black women. You know, many of us are very accomplished in our careers, and we're trying to navigate dating. We hope to, you know, one day become married. And many of our jobs, in my opinion, incite and encourage us to become more masculine. You know, we get the categories completely confused when it comes to the men that we are interested in. And my mom actually told me this, so shout out to my mom if you're listening. I remember there was a point where my mom made a comment and she said, you know, you need to stop focusing on who you like and focus on who likes you.
Now, it's amazing how this works for both women and men, right? Like who like you. And I say this to men all the time. Like I said, a lot of the times there's genius in simplicity. When someone feels like they're being chased, they automatically feel like they have more value. Right? Everybody wants to act like they're the prize, one or the other, the man and the woman. But at the end of the day, the relationship itself, what you're working towards, is the prize. And no one person in a relationship is more important. Someone who likes you is very interested. They get right to the point. They want to find out about your history, your family, your passions, what you're into, what your dreams are, what your aspirations are, what you're looking forward to in the future, what type of relationships do you want, what type of person you want to be with. All the other game playing, they're not going to do that to someone who they really like. You're trying to get to know each other. It's not about how much money you're spending. It's not about, oh, he took me there, or he took me there, or he spent this amount of money on me. It's about, oh, we talked about this. We had a connection about this. Had fun doing this. Right? And it doesn't always involve money. It just involves two people enjoying each other's company. That's the prize. But I think, you know, what's true in Western society, and you can include black women in that as well, they're taught that they're more valuable than a man. And they're not really taught to value a man's presence, his inherent value. You know, women like for men to value and appreciate their inherent value of being a woman. And then at the same time, devalue what a man brings to the table. When the simple fact is, there's an inherent value of having a man around, especially a good man. Again, you know, when you're taught that you're more valuable than the next, and then you're also taught to try to milk everything that you can because of what you perceive as your own self-inflated value, then you get off track on what a relationship is really meant to be built around. And then these women wonder why they're single.
Because like I say, as women, we get to choose who to date, but men choose who they marry. The man's putting a ring on it, not the woman.
You know, also in response to this thing about choosing a man, you know, yeah, I like what she said. You know, women choose when it comes to dating, men choose when it comes to marriage. And we all know, well, for many of us, marriage is the goal. Now, I've heard women say, particularly black women, say that marriage is not the goal. So my question is, if marriage is not the goal, what is? If you're dating and marriage is not the goal, then, you know, I'm curious what is. But yeah, so ultimately, I've said this before on my, and got some feedback from a viewer when I talked about men choosing. That's what I'm talking about. If I'm talking about a man choosing, I'm talking about marriage.
And this whole I can do bad on myself, an independent woman thing, again, I'm all about going out and getting yours. and doing what adults do. That's what adults do, right? I mean, you the only one you're the last line of defense. You're going to be the one that pay your own bills. That's just what it is, especially when you're by yourself. When you're in a relationship, you share that responsibility, however ratio that's broken down into. First step becoming an adult is paying your own bills. So I don't, pardon me if I don't give too much credit for that. Having someone help you, be there for you in the ways that you are vulnerable as a woman, that's a man's value right there. And there's no money you can put on that. There's no money you can put on that. But women are taught that the biggest asset a man can carry is his money. Money comes and goes. If you're the very luckiest, you can keep that all throughout life, but money comes and goes for most people. You get it, lose it, get it, lose it, get it, lose it, until you figure out how to keep it on a more consistent basis. But men have way more value than women give them credit for. You put the same amount of effort into relationships as you do with your careers and your degrees, and valued it as such, you would get a lot better results. I will say that having a job and having a career is no excuse for being more masculine, especially affecting the way you operate outside of your job. So compartmentalization is a real thing. And so again, all these women, they want relationships because it fits and suits them the most, right? But they're not willing to do the work. All the work needs to be done by the men. And so, yeah, of course, these coaches are having issues explaining that to these women because they've been indoctrinated by this and programmed by this, by mainstream media. We talked about that in one of my videos. The negative impact they may have on the relationship. All those things are ignored. And the onus of proving you are worthy, it falls on the man. But yeah, let me know what y'all think. Hit me in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. Like, share, subscribe. And like that, we out.